Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into the world of cryptocurrency today.
Oh, yeah.
And to help us navigate this crazy world, we've got insights from Sean Farrell.
Okay.
He's the head of digital asset strategy at 펀드스트랫 Global Advisors.
Right.
He had a really interesting interview recently on Global Money Talk, and we thought we'd break it down for you.
For sure.
Some surprising predictions about government regulation, Microstrategy's big Bitcoin strategy, and whether Solana could really become the next Ethereum.
All right, let's do.
So buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up for sure.
Farrell doesn't hold back. He comes out swinging, talking about how the previous administration had a boot on the neck of the crypto industry.
Whoa, okay, boot on the neck.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
What does he even mean by that?
Well, he's talking about all these alleged tactics they were using to, stifle the industry. He calls it choke point 2.0.
Okay.
So it's like regulators were pressuring banks.
To not do business with crypto companies, making it way harder for them to get funding.
Yeah.
To even just operate.
It's like trying to run a business.
Right.
With your hands tied behind your back.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
who wants to deal with that?
So if things were that bad, what's changed now?
Right.
Is there any hope for a better environment?
Well, Farrell seems to think so.
Okay.
He's pointing to a couple big shifts.
Like what?
Well, first, there's a chance we might get a new SEC chair who's actually, pro-crypto.
Okay.
And then there's the growing power of the crypto lobbyists.
Oh, right, the crypto pack.
Yes, exactly.
They're really starting to make some noise.
They are, pushing for clearer regulations and, support from the government.
So if these things happen,
right,
it could really change how crypto is regulated?
Huge shift. Potentially.
Opening up a ton of opportunities for growth and all kinds of innovation.
For sure.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the companies that are operating in this world right now.
Okay.
One that's been making headlines is Microstrategy.
Yeah.
They're going all in on Bitcoin, right?
Big time. They just bought another huge chunk of Bitcoin.
Wow.
Their total holdings are now something like $4.5 billion.
$4.5 billion?
Yeah. It's wild.
I can't even imagine.
And get the way they're financing these purchases is fascinating.
How are they doing it?
They're using convertible debt at 0% interest.
Okay. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what that means.
It is a little complex,
Yeah.
but basically they're borrowing money for free and using it to buy Bitcoin.
Oh.
So if Bitcoin goes up, their stock price benefits, and then they can issue more debt to buy more Bitcoin.
So it's like this...
It's a loop.
Yeah, a Lucas cycle.
Yeah, a reflexive flywheel, Farrell calls it.
Okay, so they're betting big on Bitcoin.
They are.
And using debt to, supercharge their potential gains.
Exactly.
Sounds pretty risky.
It does have risks, for sure,
Yeah.
if Bitcoin crashes.
Uh-oh.
They could face what's called a margin call. Basically, their lenders would demand more collateral to cover their losses.
Oof. Yeah, that's not good.
But so far, they haven't taken on any debt that's secured by Bitcoin. And they can always issue more shares to raise capital if they need to.
So they got options.
They do.
It's a high-stakes game for sure.
It is.
But it seems like they thought it through.
Yeah, they seem to have a plan.
Are there any other companies doing this?
Yeah, actually, there are a few.
Oh, really?
There's SMLR. They're in the medtech space.
Okay.
And a Japanese firm called MedTap Planet.
Interesting. So this could be a trend.
It could be something to keep an eye on, for sure.
Companies diversifying with Bitcoin.
Definitely.
Okay, well, let's move beyond Bitcoin for a sec.
All right.
Farrell had some interesting things to say about Solana.
Yes.
And how it stacks up against Ethereum.
It's a hot topic.
It is. Solana has had a crazy year.
311% growth.
Yeah.
Wild.
Compared to Ethereum's, what was it?
A measly 53%.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
Huge.
Why is that?
Well, Farrah says it's because of some key differences in how they're structured.
Okay, how so?
So Ethereum is more modular, while Solana is all about one high-throughput blockchain.
So basically, Solana can handle way more transactions per second.
Yeah.
And it's got a better user experience.
Much smoother.
Which is good for developers and users.
Right.
Ethereum, on the other hand, Farrell calls it the middle child.
Yeah, kind of stuck.
Yeah, not as secure and established as Bitcoin.
Right.
Not as fast and user-friendly as Solana.
Exactly. And he thinks they have a messaging problem.
What do you mean?
Well, they just don't explain themselves very well.
Oh, okay.
And they're too reliant on these big financial institutions for growth.
So is this the end for Ethereum?
Is Solana going to take over?
That's the million-dollar question.
Isn't it?
Solana definitely has momentum.
It does.
But Ethereum's got this huge network.
Massive. And a ton of developers.
Yeah, it's too early to count them out.
Way too early.
This is going to be fun to watch.
It is. This whole space is fascinating.
It really is. Speaking of fascinating,
Yeah.
Farrell brought up something I was not expecting at all.
Oh, what's that?
The link between AI and Bitcoin mining.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those seem like totally different worlds.
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
But there's more to it than you might think.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So they both need a ton of computing power and energy.
Okay.
And as Bitcoin mining gets less profitable...
Because of the difficulty and all that.
Right, exactly. Miners are looking for new ways to use their infrastructure.
Makes sense.
And AI is the perfect solution.
Oh, I see.
They can use their powerful hardware and energy to provide AI and high-performance computing services.
So it's like they're turning their Bitcoin mines into like...
Tech hubs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we're already seeing companies doing this.
Oh, wow. Like who?
TeraWulf and Core Scientific are two examples.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It's like this whole web of connections.
It is. Okay, before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's go back to Farrell's predictions for 2025.
Okay.
He had some pretty bold forecasts.
He did.
What's his outlook?
Well, he didn't give any specific numbers, but he was pretty optimistic overall.
Okay.
Talked about a better regulatory landscape.
Yeah.
More institutions adopting crypto.
Right.
And the Fed maybe being a little more chill.
So basically, he thinks the market's going to keep growing.
Yeah, he sees a strong foundation for growth.
Okay, that's good news.
It is, for now at least.
Oh, there's a but.
There is. He did mention a potential black swan event.
Oh, right. Those unpredictable things.
Yeah, exactly. The stuff that throws everyone for a loop.
Okay, and what does he think the biggest threat is?
Geopolitical conflicts.
Oh, yeah, like wars and stuff.
Yeah, he specifically mentioned Russia and Ukraine.
That's definitely still a tense situation.
It is.
And China and Taiwan.
Yeah, those are definitely areas of concern.
And it's interesting what he said about Bitcoin.
What about it?
It's supposed to be a safe haven asset, right?
That's the idea.
But he said it often acts more like a risky asset when things get crazy.
Right. If the stock market tanks, Bitcoin often follows suit.
So much for digital gold.
Right. Makes you wonder.
It does. Is it really a safe haven or just another risky asset?
I think the jury's still out on that one.
Yeah, it's still pretty new.
It is.
We're still figuring out how it behaves during these big crises.
We are. But, you know, even if Bitcoin isn't the ultimate safe haven, it still has potential as a store of value and a hedge against inflation.
Which is a big deal for a lot of investors.
It is.
And we can't forget about blockchain technology itself.
Right. It's about so much more than just cryptocurrency.
Yeah, we're seeing it in supply chains. Voting systems.
Yeah.
Digital identity.
It's everywhere.
It's crazy.
It is a truly transformative technology.
Yeah, it is. But before we wrap up this part, I want to go back to something Farrell said about Microstrategy.
Okay.
Their strategy relies on this reflexive flywheel, right?
Right, where their stock price and Bitcoin's price feed off each other.
Exactly. But what if that flywheel starts spinning in the other direction?
Oh, that's a good question.
What if Bitcoin crashes?
Yeah.
Could that drag MicroStrategy down with it?
Potentially. Could they be forced to sell their Bitcoin?
Yeah, and make the crash even worse.
It's possible. It's a thought-provoking question.
And it brings us back to this idea of market contagion.
Yeah.
People say crypto is becoming less correlated with traditional assets.
Right, less connected.
Yeah, but Farrell's observations about Bitcoin suggest otherwise.
It does seem that way.
Yeah.
The jury's still out on whether crypto can really decouple from the rest of the market.
It's something for investors to think about.
Especially with more and more institutions getting involved.
Yeah, a big shock in one market could easily affect everything.
Absolutely. It's all connected.
It's a complex web we're only beginning to understand.
We are. And it highlights the importance of diversification.
Oh, for sure.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Spread your risk across different assets.
Crypto and non-crypto.
Exactly. That's the key.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Right. Embracing the opportunities.
Yeah.
But also being smart about the risks.
It's a tightrope walk.
It is. But it's an exciting one.
It is. Okay, so as we move on to the next part of this deep dive, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, first, the regulatory landscape is constantly changing.
Right.
And that could have a huge impact on the industry.
Okay.
Second, institutional adoption of crypto is increasing.
Right.
But that brings concerns about market manipulation and systemic risk.
Interesting.
Third, alternatives like Solana are gaining ground, challenging Ethereum.
Yeah.
It's a race to watch.
It is. And finally, the connection between crypto and AI.
Oh, yeah.
It's creating all these new possibilities.
It is. And it also raises new challenges and ethical questions.
It's a lot to think about.
It is. The main thing is to stay informed.
Right. Be adaptable.
Yeah. And approach it all with curiosity and a healthy dose of skepticism.
Wise words.
Thank you.
We'll be back soon with more from Farrell, including what he thinks could derail the whole crypto market, so stay tuned.
Looking forward to it. Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Before the break, we were talking about how geopolitical conflicts could really mess things up.
Yeah, those are always a wild card.
But let's circle back to MicroStrategy for a minute.
Okay.
Their strategy with using convertible debt to buy Bitcoin is so interesting.
It is. It's clever.
But I'm still not sure I fully understand it.
Let's break it down then.
Okay.
Imagine MicroStrategy is like a ship sailing the seas to find treasure.
Bitcoin.
Exactly. Bitcoin is the treasure.
Okay.
And to finance these expeditions, they issue these things called convertible bonds.
Convertible bond.
Like, think of them like loans.
Okay.
Like loans that can be converted into company stock.
So instead of paying back the loan with money,
right,
they could give the lender stock in the company.
Exactly. It's like they're offering treasure mats.
Oh, I like that.
In exchange for funding the voyage.
So they're saying, hey, give us money to buy more Bitcoin, and if it goes up, you get to share the profits.
That's the gist of it.
And these convertible bonds, they come with low interest rates, right?
Yeah, often very low, sometimes even 0%.
Like with MicroStrategy.
Exactly. So they're borrowing money for practically nothing.
And using it to buy more Bitcoin.
Hoping the price goes up.
Making their stock more valuable.
Right, creating this upward spiral.
But what if Bitcoin crashes?
Oh, that's the risk.
The ship hits an iceberg.
Right. The treasure sinks to the bottom of the ocean.
What happens then?
Well, those bondholders might get nervous.
Yeah.
And want to cash in their treasure maps for company stock.
So instead of getting a share of the Bitcoin profits,
they take stock in the company itself.
Which could dilute the value of the existing stock.
Right, and push the price down.
It's a risky game, for sure.
It is. But they're not the only ones playing it.
We talked about SMLR and Metaplanet.
Yeah, they're following similar strategies.
It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It will. It's a high-stakes game of chicken.
Okay, well, let's zoom out for a second.
All right.
Farrell seems pretty optimistic about crypto overall.
He does. He's bullish on the future.
But he also knows things could go wrong.
There are always risks.
Besides, like, wars and stuff, what else could derail things?
Well, one thing is scalability.
Okay.
As more people use crypto,
right,
the networks need to handle all those transactions.
Without slowing down or getting too expensive?
Exactly. That's a big challenge for Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Oh, right. It's one of the reasons Solana is getting so much attention.
Exactly. They're all competing to be the most efficient and scalable.
It's like a race to the top.
It is. And it's not just about speed and cost security.
And
usability.
Right. It needs to be easy to use.
For everyone.
Developers.
Everyone. It's a tall order.
So crypto still has a long way to go before it's mainstream.
It does, but that's what makes it so exciting.
What about governments, though?
Yeah, what about them?
Could they just shut it all down?
It's definitely a possibility.
It's like the early days of the internet.
Exactly. No one knew what to do with it.
Do you think we'll ever get like a global set of rules for crypto?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be a mix.
Oh, wait.
Maybe some international guidelines.
Uh-huh.
But each country will probably do their own thing, too.
Makes sense?
Yeah, it's hard to say for sure.
Okay, well, what about technology?
Technology, what do you mean?
Could something like quantum computing just change everything?
Oh, yeah, quantum computing.
Yeah.
That's a wild card.
It could revolutionize everything, right?
It could. Finance cryptography.
Could it break Bitcoin?
Some experts think so.
Like make it completely insecure?
Potentially. If quantum computers get powerful enough.
So all our Bitcoin could just disappear?
It's a scary thought.
But they're working on quantum-resistant cryptography, right?
Yeah, they are. It's like an arms race.
Who can build the better technology faster?
Exactly. It's one of the things that makes this space so dynamic.
It's like the future's being written in real time.
It is.
Okay, well, let's shift gears for a second.
Okay.
We've been talking a lot about technology, regulation markets.
All the big stuff.
But what about the people?
Oh, the humans.
Yeah, the ones actually using crypto.
The ones taking the risks.
What are their stories?
That's a great question.
What are they hoping for?
Yeah, what are their dreams?
What are they afraid of?
It's easy to get lost in all the technical details, but there are real people behind all of this.
People who believe in this technology.
Yeah, people who are trying to build a better future.
Speaking of building a better future, let's talk more about AI and Bitcoin mining.
Okay, that's a fun one.
It is.
So as mining gets less profitable, miners are looking for new ways to use their hardware.
Right.
And AI is a perfect fit.
Oh, I see.
It needs a lot of computing power.
Just like mining.
Exactly. So these mining farms could become hubs for AI research.
It's like they're evolving.
From gold mines to brain centers.
I love that. It's a perfect analogy.
And it could have huge implications.
Like what?
Well, imagine using AI to make mining more efficient.
Okay.
More profitable, more sustainable.
That would be amazing.
Or imagine using those mining farms to train advanced AI models.
That could be used for anything.
Exactly. Healthcare, finance, scientific research.
The possibilities are endless.
They are. It's a perfect example of how seemingly unrelated fields can come together.
And create something totally new?
Exactly. It's all about breaking down silos.
Thinking outside the box.
That's what innovation is all about.
Okay, well, as we wrap up this part of the deep dive,
can
you leave our listeners with something to think about?
Sure. So Farrell is optimistic about the future of crypto.
Right. 2025 is looking bright.
But he also knows things could change.
Unforeseen events, black swans.
All that fun stuff.
So what I want you to think about is this.
Okay.
What are some potential scenarios for the future of crypto?
Good and bad.
Yeah, and how could those scenarios affect your life?
Your investments, your world?
It's a lot to consider.
It is, but it's worth thinking about.
We'll be back soon to wrap up this deep dive with some final thoughts.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been through a lot.
We have, from regulations to Solana.
Even AI and Bitcoin mining.
Who knew they were connected, right?
It's mind-blowing. But before we go,
I
want to make sure we bring it back to you, the listener.
Of course, this is all for you.
Exactly. So let's recap what we've learned from Sean Farrell.
Okay, key takeaways time.
First up, the regulatory landscape.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
It's changing all the time.
Governments are still figuring out what to do with crypto.
And their decisions could have a huge impact.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that investing in crypto comes with regulatory risk.
Things could change overnight.
Exactly, and that uncertainty can really shake things up.
It's important to stay informed.
For sure. Keep an eye on those headlines.
Another big takeaway is the rise of institutional investors.
Oh yeah, the big players are stepping in.
Like Microstrategy.
They're not messing around.
And their moves can have a big impact on the market.
For sure, but it also raises concerns about, market manipulation, systemic risk.
It's a balancing act.
It is. Institutional involvement can be good.
It brings legitimacy.
Yeah, and stability.
But it also brings new risks and complexities.
Always two sides to the coin.
We also talked about alternative cryptocurrencies.
Oh yeah, like Solana.
Challenging Ethereum.
They're coming in hot.
Solana's got speed and user experience on its side.
It's a slick platform.
But Ethereum has that huge
that a loyal following.
This competition's going to be fun to watch.
It's pushing the whole space forward.
And of course, we can't forget about AI and Bitcoin mining.
That unexpected connection.
It's like they were meant to be together.
As mining gets less profitable, miners need new ways to use their power.
And AI is the perfect solution.
A match made in heaven.
It just shows you how innovation can come from unexpected places.
Exactly. Keep an open mind.
But remember, don't just take our word for it.
There's even Sean Farrell's.
These are no research.
Question everything.
Think for yourself. That's the best way to navigate this world.
Okay, so Sean Farrell sees a bright future for crypto in 2025.
He does. But there are always those unforeseen events.
Black swans.
The things we can't predict.
So here's a final thought for you.
Okay,
Think about what the future of crypto could look like.
The good, the bad, the ugly. Exactly. How could it affect your life?
Your investments, the world.
It's a lot to consider.
It is. But it's worth the effort.
That's what the deep dive is all about.
Helping you understand this complex world.
So you can make informed decisions.
And be part of the conversation.
Thanks for joining us.
And a pleasure.
We'll be back next week with another deep dive.
Until then, keep exploring.
And keep learning.